Give me a little intro there, Gomer.
There's no turning back now.
Let's put on the show.
You are listening to the Station 71 podcast. My name is Mario, and this week I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Beth,
Brian,
and Kirsten.
So this week we're kind of a little behind on this since this episode should be coming out on Christmas. But we're going to be talking about the Very Merry Christmas Party, and hopefully this guide will be good for anyone that's interested in going. Maybe it'll give you some tips for next year. It'll give you an idea on if this party is good for you. And we're just going to kind of go over some of the offerings and everything that you can do at Very Merry Christmas Party. But first, as always, let's dive into some news topics for this week. First up, we've got preparations underway at Epcot for the future nighttime spectaculars. We talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago. Illuminations Reflections of Earth is going to be leaving within the next 2 years, and a new show will be debuting in 2020. Looks like we're getting some construction around World Showcase Lagoon, and we're going to be seeing some things just getting ready for the rollout of the new show. I'm actually pretty excited about this.
yeah, I think it looks good. I just hope they don't make it too cheesy.
I think as much as I love Illuminations, it was time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've kind of accepted that.
Traitors, all of you.
I'm still bitter about Wishes, so
Yeah, I'm more okay with Illumination. I love the soundtrack, but I don't like the actual show. Like, it's so hard to see. It's really not that. I'm like, yes, it's a giant ball. It's very technologically advanced, whatever. But like,
yeah, from what the concept art here is showing, it looks like they're going to be leaning a lot more on fireworks. So that should be better for viewing around the park.
yeah, hopefully it lends itself to just better viewpoints from everywhere. I liked that you could see Illuminations from any part of World Showcase and you'd get a different experience each time, but if they just iron out some of the kinks with the fireworks and everything, I'm totally okay with that.
but my experience was always seeing whatever I could see behind other people's heads. Like, I feel like I maybe got a perfect view like once ever.
That's fair. Hopefully they fix that. Like, I don't know what they could do that would really fix that unless they just did things higher off of the lagoon. I guess that would be better. But
I have an idea. What if they could use like drones or something?
I think that was, for a while, that was the talk.
I know.
Oh my gosh, wow. It's been a long day, guys.
Oh, man.
A lot of this is going to go right over my head. I am so sorry, guys. So do we want to move on to the next topic?
Sure.
Yeah.
So Disney has rolled out a new guest service experience throughout Magic Kingdom to help with the peak crowds. Over the next couple weeks, we're going to be seeing guest experience teams deployed throughout Magic Kingdom just so that they can help you out and you won't have to go wait in line at guest service. Looks like they're deploying them at Tomorrowland near Stitch, in the Castle Hub, and in Fantasyland. Oh, also, and Pecos Bills and Skipper Canteen.
Man, I want to give a shout out to any of the cast members that are taking on this role because this sounds awful. This is basically, you're going to be dealing with people that didn't plan ahead, it sounds like, and helping them piece together their hobbled together vacation that they tried to plan.
I think it's a good idea from Disney's standpoint because it's going to lower the number of guest complaints because there will be more guest service people around. But you're right, 100%. These people are going to be dealing with the brute end of the people that didn't plan, the people that are angry because they couldn't get on Space Mountain in under an hour.
Definitely good on Disney though, and I do. I hear so many stories, especially I feel like living in Florida, of people that are like, well, yeah, you go and all you have to do, all you get to do is stand around in lines. And it's just like, if you, take an hour and plan it out before you go, you don't have to do that. So hopefully this will cut down on those people.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was all I had in news this week, unless there's something you guys wanted to talk about. I'm ready to dive into Very Merry Christmas Party.
Well, actually was looking, and I'll put this link in the notes real quick, but apparently Aunt Polly's, it's not like a huge deal, but Aunt Polly's restaurant on Tom Sawyer Island is reopening for a limited time.
Really? That's pretty exciting.
It says December 22nd through January 5th. So it's a very short time, which I just thought that was weird. Like, I wonder, are they just trying to get people to go over to Tom Sawyer Island and waste some time during the holidays, I guess?
Maybe.
Did you see the time slot, too? It's only 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Sawyer Island's only open from, 11 to 5 now, I think, during the winter months anyways, so...
Yeah.
Do you think y'all would be able, do you think it's possible to hide on Tom Sawyer Island and spend the night on Disney property?
I have always wanted to do that. I feel like they have to have a team of people that goes through and sweeps the area before they close it down. But
yeah,
I want to try.
Yeah, I would say they definitely do now, because they're, at Disneyland there was an incident where some kids did that, and one of them did not survive.
Oh,
so,
wow, that took a dark turn.
Yeah, well, that's why.
That took a very dark turn.
It was like a younger and older brother, and they tried to swim back across, and the older brother couldn't. It was had the younger brother on his back and drowned.
Oh, jeez.
So.
Wow.
So I would imagine after that happened, they probably do sweep. We
should try to find somebody who has worked in that area before and see what the deal is. I'd be curious to hear about that. Mm-hmm. If they do and how it works and stuff.
If any of our listeners have any kind of connection to anyone that's ever worked on Tom Sawyer Island, please let me know how that is.
See, I think the trick is you gotta get off of Tom Sawyer Island and wait until park's about to close and then go swim back across. I don't think, because there's a too much of a buffer time now between when Tom Sawyer Island closes and when the park closes, that you're basically giving the cast members 4 extra hours to find you. You got to wait till the last possible minute. Make your way back.
I wouldn't swim across that river ever. I would wait or nothing, or else pack an inflatable raft and a bicycle pump in my bag.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I'm sure that wouldn't be suspicious going through bag check.
Yeah, I have run into snakes on multiple occasions on Tom Sawyer Island. So,
oh my God, what?
Yeah, this is probably...
Well, you just talked Kirsten out of ever going back.
I like Tom Sawyer Island, and now I'm never going back.
This is probably going to make it even worse. It was in one of the caves, too, so it was pretty confined area.
Yikes. All right, well, everyone that's listening and thinking of sneaking onto Tom Sawyer Island to spend the night, there you go. Snakes.
That's all you need to say. So now are we ready to talk Not So Scary?
Well, we're going back to October.
I told you I'm so out of it tonight. It's not a good night for me. Are we ready to talk Very Merry?
Yes.
That one we can do.
Cool. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to do this. I know Beth just recently did it. I've done it before, but that was 3 years ago. Brian, you've done it
for the first
right?
time last year.
I've done it, but it was 6 years ago. Okay,
so we all have some experience with this here, but it may be a little far off in Kirsten in my case. So I kind of wanted to break this down, let our listeners know what they can expect with a party ticket, and give some of the special events that go on. I know some of the stuff has changed up with this year being some new things, and I guess some of the stuff changed up last year as well. But just kind of give a general overview of the party, stuff that we think is worth it, and then at the end kind of just do a big overview of, is this party worth it? Do we think it's worth the ticket price? So I guess we could start with how you get into the park and how the first couple hours is structured, because that's where you're really sharing a good amount of time with the regular party guests. So the park actually opens its normal hours to 6 p.m. and party ticket guests are allowed into the park at 4 p.m. So from 4 to 6, you're actually sharing the park with the regular day guests, and not really any of the special party stuff is out and about. I personally think this is a really good time to do like if you're doing like a dinner reservation or something, or just want to grab a bite to eat, maybe ride some rides and not do anything special in the park. This is a good time to do that.
Yeah, I also would suggest looking at which attractions are open, and if you're using Very Merry as a park ticket, which you get a bunch of time in the park, so you definitely can do that. Just check out which ones are not going to be open. You can ride those in the 2 hours before, or 3 hours, because it starts at 7 technically.
I did that with Not So Scary, and I totally recommend actually using Very Merry as a ticket if you're not like an annual pass holder where it doesn't really matter. Just because you do kind of have that extra time. I mean, you can use the morning for like Disney Springs or just to hang out at the resort, and you can get some relaxing time in before your nice long day in the park.
Mm-hmm. That's what we did this time, because even though I'm a pass holder, my boyfriend is not, so we got the Very Merry tickets, and that was his park ticket, so we got in at 4.
So anybody that doesn't have a wristband at 6 p.m. will be escorted out by a cast member. It seems like it doesn't actually happen. I've seen it happen. Can confirm that is a thing that they do.
I've seen the guests having a meltdown because they were having to leave the park and they didn't want to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys my experience with Lotso during Not So Scary?
I don't think so.
So the first thing that we did at Not So Scary, because we were kind of overwhelmed, we didn't really plan that out very well, and I kind of regret not doing that because there was so much to do. But we just kind of walked around at first and couldn't really decide what to do. Stumbled upon Lotso, and he didn't really have a line, so we were like, let's just jump in. And this was probably like right as the party was starting. So we jumped in line. There was a couple people in front of us. Family that was in front of us didn't have park wristbands. So they were regular day guests, didn't realize that there was a party going on, were somehow like bypassed the being escorted out. Maybe they were on like a ride or something. But as soon as they got to the front of the line, the cast members saw that they didn't have a wristband and they were escorted out, didn't get to meet Lotso or anything, were immediately taken to the front of the park and were asked to leave. So it happens.
I mean, it's hard to feel sympathetic for people that could literally take 10 seconds to Google what times the parks are open. Yeah. And also when you're like, if you're driving into the parks, there's a sign that has the hours. Like that could be easily missed if you are taking other transportation. But yeah,
I just think now how easily accessible information is, it's kind of crazy. And like, I mean, based on my experience as a vacation planner, if people buy a one-day ticket on event days like that, like you're supposed to say, the park closes at 4, right? Which maybe they didn't have a one-day ticket, but still, it's like you're coming for more than one day. You could literally just Google Disney World hours.
I try to not be a cynical person, but I feel like the majority of those people know that, and they're just trying to take advantage of it.
I will say the other thing, if you're not 100% sure, Disney does push the My Disney Experience app down everyone's throat. So it has the hours on there. It will tell you that they close early, and you can see that it is a ticketed event. So there are ways, if you're not, as Disney savvy as us, I guess, or most of our listeners. But yeah. If you're in the park already, you can check in at any wristband station in the park as well, and they'll give you your party wristband. You just have to have your ticket available. Other than that, I'm pretty sure that's most of the stuff that I wanted to go over about the entrance and getting into the party. Aside from the one that someone just blocked out, where you can actually when you enter the party from the front entrance, you'll have to go back through a VIP entrance behind Tony's Town Square, where you'll be kind of pushed into the park as they're escorting people out. So anything else about the start of the party and getting in that I missed?
I think that about does it.
Okay. Cool. So let's move on to some of the special events. I know this is where like a lot of the big things are. I wanted to kind of lump this in together with the special offerings. With the special events, I found times for all of these. So this is kind of the stuff that you really want to plan for, I think, because these are the things that you're really only going to see during the party. So I guess let's just go down this list. I'll give the name of the event, the time, and then we can talk a little bit about them. The first one on our list is a Frozen Holiday Wish, which premieres from 6:15 to 8:15, or 6:15 and 8:15 p.m. On party nights. This is the show where Elsa lights up the castle with all the Christmas lights. I think this is a pretty cool show. I think it's worth watching.
Yeah.
Can I say that my holiday wish is for Frozen to not be involved in something for literally one? I like Frozen, but
Yeah.
I think this is
I think it actually makes sense in this situation, though. I do agree. Like, yeah, I'm all for Frozen not taking over the parks, but you know, it does go with the theming this time.
Yeah. See, I like that this is the instance they used it in, because it makes sense that she's like putting icicles on the castle and everything. Am I over the Frozen craze? 100%. But the year that I did Very Merry was the year that Frozen came out, so everything was Frozen.
But at least maybe it wasn't so old yet.
when Disney can control the weather and like Disney World is under a big bubble and they can put real icicles up there, that's when I will be okay with Elsa doing it. Like whoever invents stuff for Disney needs to get on that, like some sort of laser machine that will make snow or icicles appear. Get to it.
That would be pretty cool. But I'm all here for just the holiday lights for now.
Kirsten, you're ahead of your time.
So the next one on our list, which I know Beth is super excited to talk about.
I can't wait.
I can't believe they do this 4 times a night.
I can't believe they do it once.
All right, hold on. Before we dive too far into this, we have the stage show offering, which is Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration. It premieres at 7:40 p.m., 9:25 p.m., 10:30 p.m., and 11:55 p.m. I'm going to turn this one over to Beth because I know you love this show so much.
Wait, Most Merriest?
Yep.
That is how they chose to phrase that one.
Okay,
It's
well,
supposed to be educational.
Oh, just wait till you hear about the show.
okay, so Brian, I know you said you've seen it because this show just started in 2016. So unless you've been in the past couple of years, you wouldn't have seen this show. And it was the very last thing. We went to Very Merry on December 9th. It was the very last thing we did. We went to the 11:55 show. And, it starts off, I'm just like, okay, this is kind of weird. I don't know. There is just like a big hodgepodge of characters that no one really cares a whole lot about. But the like cherry on top of the disgusting pile that the show is one of the first songs that they sing. I can't remember what it is actually called, but it's essentially everyone pulls out. Spoiler alert if you don't, skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to know what happens, but everyone on the stage pulls out these giant glowing iPhones, and is like texting their friends, come to this party, and Daisy's like texting Donald, like, where are you? Why aren't you here at this party? And then they all start singing about like, text me Merry Christmas or something. Like, it's all about a freaking cell phone. And I'm like, how is this like magical at all?
It was so funny for our listeners. After last week's show, when we decided we were going to do Very Merry, Beth was going on about this, and I couldn't remember it. And you were describing it, and is like, as soon as you said, yeah, they pull out these like tablets or phones or whatever, like it all came rushing back to me at that point. That was like the one thing that I remember about this. And
you had repressed it.
I must have, but as soon as you did, it was like, oh my God, I remember that. I remember all the random dancers, all the random hodgepodge of characters. Like, it really was. It was like it had been repressed, and one thing clicked the memory, and it all came flooding back.
So, literally, like, we had a great time at the party. Like, the weather was awesome. It was just cold enough to feel like it was winter without being too cold. And we did pretty much all of we watched both showings of the parade, and we saw the Frozen Wish, and we even saw the weird Tomorrowland show, which we'll talk about later. And then this, like I said, this was the very last thing we did. And my boyfriend was standing beside me, like, dying of laughter because he was watching me have a mental breakdown about this show. I was just like, what is this? What, like, everything that was happening, I was just like, wait, what? What is this? What's happening?
Who is the target audience for this show is what I want to know.
It's gotta be Snapchat, like 14-year-olds on Snapchat.
But that's what I don't get. Like, texting has been around for, 15 years now? Like, why are they just now incorporating this? Like, this is new technology. We're really gonna get in touch with the kids this time, you know? I don't get this at all.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like build up and like brainwashing to when they come out with like a Disney phone.
Oh my gosh. Oh, no. It makes sense now.
But when I was little, like, I honestly didn't go to Disney World till I was in 9th grade. But being little, I remember seeing like commercials for it and stuff, and thinking they had like their own planes, like their own airline and their own airport. Like, you know, as a kid, it was like, dang, they're like everything, but they're really not. So, yeah, maybe Eli's first cell phone will be a Disney phone.
Oh gosh.
I just remember when I was younger that I thought Disney was its own place. Like, I didn't think it was in Florida or anything. So,
you know what Disney really missed out on the opportunity here for, though, is to like slide an ad for the Go Parks app in here when they pull out the.
Oh my god.
Oh no. No, it would have been killer if they slid a Play Parks app promo in there.
Yep. Ugh.
Yeah. This, I just could not believe what was happening. And I was just trying to Google the lyrics so that I could share some of it with you guys. And I'm now discovering that this was actually the song is called Text Me Merry Christmas. And it is a real song that existed, that was not written for this show, apparently, because this song came out in 2014. And it's by a band called Straight No Chaser.
Oh, Straight No Chaser?
Featuring Kristen Bell.
So what you're telling me is Disney put zero effort into this stage show.
Right. It's like none of the songs are original songs. I thought this was the one original song. But I could handle it if it was just them, you know, the Disney characters covering classic Christmas songs. And somehow it was still, like, even with, if you just took this song out, it's still not a good show, because one of the other first songs is Clarabelle Cow singing All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey, and she's singing it in Clarabelle Cow, like, I want a lot for Christmas, like her little, like, stupid voice, which I found out.
Literally the best impersonation of it.
That's what she sounds like. Oh. And I found out that, because I had been wondering this for a while, and I know I mentioned this when we were talking after the episode last week, but apparently the lady that voices Clarabelle Cow wrote this stage show So that's why she gets like her whole own terrible rendition of this song, and also she has her own float in both Very Merry Parade and Not So Scary Parade. And I'm just like, this just seems a little off to me. Just because you voice this one character that no one cares about, you get to add all of this stuff.
Yeah, Clarabelle Cow, or as she's known to most guests of the park, who?
Right, exactly.
Apparently, this show also features a rendition of "It Feels Like Christmas" from the Muppets Christmas Carol. I haven't seen the show, so can one of you confirm that? Because I love a Muppets Christmas Carol, and that might actually make me a little sad.
Honestly, the rest of the show is kind of fuzzy in my mind because I think I went into blackout mode. I was just like, I can't handle what's happening right now. So that was just getting the show started off with that was just getting a bad taste in my mouth right from the beginning.
But I think you made a good point earlier that this should be so easy for Disney. I mean, they really could. They could have just the characters come out and sing classic Christmas songs that we all know, and it would be at least a halfway decent show.
Yeah, and honestly, there are some parts that exactly that happens, and it's cute. Like, the Three Caballeros come out and sing Feliz Navidad, and I thought it was super duper cute. It's relevant to the characters, and it's a classic Christmas song, and none of them sound terrible singing like Clarabelle Cow does. So that part was totally fine, and if the whole show had been similar, like in that vein, I would have liked it. But unfortunately, that is the one part that I can say that I did actually like.
Wow, some strong feelings there on that one.
I have very, very strong feelings. You see, you guys, it's just like, to me, Christmas is about, I'm not just to me, to everyone. I feel like this is a universal Christmas celebrating feeling, is spending time with the people that you care about and not being attached to your cell phone and on Facebook and actually taking the time to interact with people. And it's just like this song is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So just to give you guys a little taste, the first, I guess, kind of verse, the lyrics are, "This holiday you'll be far away and I'll be all alone. So please remember this December to fully charge your phone."
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I just really wish honestly kind of wish I hadn't gone to this, because I feel like not the event, but I wish I hadn't watched this show, because like I said, it was the last thing we did, and I was just walking out of the park with my jaw dropped. I was like, I can't believe this exists. I've never felt so strongly, I think, of hating a Disney attraction, entertainment, whatever, as I do this. So anyway.
Well, on that note, should we move on to the next offering?
Yes, because everything is uphill from here.
So our next offering that they have on these events is Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade, which premieres at 8:30 p.m. and 11 p.m. I liked this parade. When I saw it, I really enjoyed the parades that they do for the ticketed events. I think they're fun, and they're the fact that they have unique characters. Like this one has the reindeer and the tin soldiers. I think those are great, and I love special parades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought this parade was super cute. I kind of do feel like I wish I had gone to Very Merry before I went to Not So Scary, but as a trying to look at it objectively, it's a very cute parade.
Mm-hmm.
I think Not So Scary's is better, so I'm kind of judging it.
I mean, everything about Not So Scary is objectively better.
It's true.
That's fair. The one thing I do want to say, just at the end of this show, I definitely want to step aside from Not So Scary, because I know we all love that, and kind of say if this is worth your money or not, because this always gets compared to Not So Scary, and while I think that that's fair in some respects, I think this is a good offering for Christmas stuff. I do want to throw that out there. Not to say that we can't compare it.
Yeah,
but.
no, definitely. I also feel like it has to do with your personal feelings towards each holiday, because I have said for years, if you gave presents on Halloween, it would be my favorite. That's like the one thing that I like better about Christmas is giving and receiving presents. But not to say that I don't like Christmas otherwise. I just like the spirit of Halloween and like, I don't know, the spookiness and whatever. So that's another kind of biased part of my opinion. So if you are like really super duper into Christmas, like you're the person that puts up the Christmas decorations the day after Thanksgiving or the day before Thanksgiving, as long as it's after Thanksgiving, I'm good with it. But
no, I am definitely more of a Christmas person than Halloween. I really don't care about Halloween. And even I can admit, like, objectively, Not So Scary is better. Like, I don't know how much Very Merry tickets are right now, but I feel like there's definitely not as much stuff to make you feel like you're getting your money's worth.
yeah,
That's fair.
I would agree with that.
Anyway, parade. Any special thoughts on the parade?
Like I said, it was cute. It wasn't as, I don't know, exciting as...
There's still Snope, right?
Yes. Or at least there was when I went last year.
Yeah. That's the finale of the parade, isn't it?
It goes on most
Like at
of
the very
parade,
end it
doesn't it? At
snows?
least from what I remember.
Oh, I don't...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it snows the whole time.
Snopes.
Snopes? Oh,
Snow and
snow soap. Okay, I got it. That's funny.
Everything's just going over our heads tonight, guys. This is why we don't record on a Friday night. So I guess we can move on from that one and talk about holiday wishes. Celebrate the spirit of the season. And no one has anything to say about that.
For me, I don't really have any opinion.
I'm trying to remember this. I mean...
I liked it. It relies, because it's been around a lot longer than some of the other nighttime shows, it relies very little on projection mapping and almost 100% on fireworks, I would say, which I really like. Like, don't get me wrong, I love projection mapping in general, but it's nice to not feel like you have too much to look at. And I don't know. The fireworks were really great. Like, it was one of those kind of fireworks shows where I was like, oh wow, cool. Like, especially the finale was just like boom, boom, boom everywhere. It was awesome.
I'm just still surprised that we're keeping wishes in the title of the special event fireworks shows.
I did feel a little bit of like a stab there.
Think of it as an homage, not a legitimate wishes.
No, if they're going to take away the best fireworks show to ever exist, then they need to replace everything that had to do with it and not
Glad to have you back, Kirsten.
So you want there to be no memory of wishes, just cut it, delete it out of the history books.
It's like, oh, this is based on wishes, but you can't see the real thing anymore. Ha ha ha, but we'll keep you to make a new show for this thing. Ha ha. That's exactly Bob Iger's thoughts, I can tell you.
Oh boy. So from there we have a totally Tomorrowland Christmas. It's 7:45 p.m., 8:35 p.m., 9:25 p.m., 10:45 p.m., and 11:35 p.m. That is a lot of times for this dance party.
Well, it's actually not really a dance party. It is like a stage show. And It's like, I think 20 minutes long. So I guess that's why they have, or like maybe like 15 minutes long. I don't know. But I guess that's why they have a bunch.
And I have to say, the best part of it is that the host is named Haley Comet.
I did really like that. She kind of has that attitude that makes you want to throw up because she's so chipper, but I do love that her name is Haley Comet.
But also, it's Tomorrowland, and so I get Buzz Lightyear, space, whatever. Stitch, also space, that's futuristic. Why and I know the ride is there, but why is Mike Wazowski in this? Like, that has nothing to do with Tomorrowland or Future or anything. I do not understand. Like, I realize that the laugh floor is there, but that doesn't even make sense when you really think about it.
Yep.
Yeah, that just speaks to Tomorrowland's theme or lack thereof. Yeah. So, I won't say that I disliked this show. I thought it was very interesting. I definitely didn't feel as strongly about it as I did about the other one, so that's good. I just felt like it was kind of weird and forced because you have this girl, Haley Comet, who's hosting, and the whole premise of the show is she's hanging out with her Tomorrowland friends and celebrating Christmas, and Stitch is on a mission to go and find Santa and bring him back for the big finale. And so,
of course he is.
In the meantime, so Stitch pretty much the entire show, except for the very end, appears exclusively on the TV, like the screen behind them on the stage.
Which is also weird because he comes out and meets and greets.
Yeah, so it is kind of weird and he comes out at the end as well. But the thing that just kind of weirded me out was this. Each character, Buzz, Stitch, and Mike Wazowski, have their own song that they have a musical number to. They have dancers that come out and dance with them. They were fine. The Buzz one really threw me off, though. It was really this weird kind of rap version of Jingle Bells, but all of the words were changed to be relevant to Buzz's universe that he lives in.
Oh, that doesn't sound cringy at all.
No, it gets better. Just wait. So the whole story of the song or whatever is that he's fighting with Zurg. He's, it's Christmas and Zurg and him are in a fight like they always are or something. And Zurg has these minions that come out and they have jingle bells on their shoes, and they do these weird step dances that make it jingle a lot, and I don't know. But at the end of the song, it's basically well, it's Christmas, so we're gonna get along. Happy, Merry Christmas, Zurg, and he's Merry Christmas, Buzz, and I'm are you serious? This is not canon. So, yeah, it felt very thrown together. It wasn't terrible. I didn't hate it by any means, but I would not take the time to see it again, probably, unless I was looking for a laugh.
Oh, I also hate the costumes on, the main Haley Comet and, her main backup dancers. I feel like it's Tomorrowland, once again, but they're, old-fashioned. She's wearing, a flowy, pea coat. I mean, if it's Christmas in Tomorrowland, I want something that's got lights on it and is shiny.
Well, it did have a bunch of rhinestones on it. I don't know, glitter, not glitter, but literal tons and tons of rhinestones on the peacoat, which I guess I can see what you're saying. I loved the peacoat and I actually was thinking the whole time how I wanted it.
Felt like it didn't fit with what a host in Tomorrowland at Christmas should look like.
Yeah.
You should be in some sort of Lady Gaga something.
Yeah.
I want you to know that the reason this show feels so dated is because it's been running since 2009.
Well, honestly, that's not even my main problem with it. Is
they haven't added cell phones to this show yet.
Yeah, they're already a step ahead because of that. But it just, I don't know. It just kind of has a weird storyline that feels like the person who was supposed to write it, they're walking down the hallway at work and they're hey, you ready for that meeting later? And they're oh crap, I totally forgot to write that show. And they had to write it in 10 minutes and they're what do I do? And they had to find a way to make all of these characters work together somehow. It just, I don't know, it felt very not thought through. But again, I won't say that it's terrible. I would recommend seeing it once. This is becoming a theme.
I'm so sorry. Hold on. No, I have to stop because I was trying to see if the show's changed at all, and the first thing that comes up is Totally Tomorrowland Christmas, first show 2009. And about 4 minutes into the show, Mike Wazowski's arm falls off. And the show gets canceled at the end of Buzz Lightyear's song.
That's amazing.
So this show has been a train wreck since it debuted.
Apparently.
First time I went to see Fantasmic, I was in college. I hadn't seen it somehow at any of my 3 previous visits. And so I'm like so excited because I've like never seen this show. No, actually I was a senior in high school, I guess. So excited, like we go in, we sit down, I'm like pumped. And it starts and it's the beginning. And then as soon as what's-her-butt, Evil Queen is up there with the cauldron and she's like, bring me whatever. And everything goes black. And we sit there and then like 30 seconds later they come over the radio and they cancel it.
Oh, no.
So I don't know what happened that night, but...
That's so sad.
That sounds like me and Rivers of Light. I still haven't seen it.
Except Fantasmic is
I was
good.
about to say,
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Big difference there, but...
Missed out on something real.
Yes. That's true.
So do we want to move on to the next offering at the party?
You know, I don't think we're selling this show very much.
I don't think so either. I promise, folks, it is a good party. Next on our list of things that you can visit at Very Merry Christmas Party is the Edge Effect, which is a a cappella holiday concert, formerly voice play. This show is from 8:10, 9 p.m., 10:20, and 11:10 p.m. This is also in Tomorrowland, I believe. There's a lot going on over there.
It's on the same stage as the Totally Tomorrowland Christmas show.
Did you happen to do this one? Because I know that I personally skipped this.
The most I got was when we were riding the People Mover. We went by it, and I heard a little bit and saw a little bit, and that was enough for me.
Is it the Dapper Dans like in a different outfit, or is it a totally different group?
It's a totally different group.
Do y'all remember before Beauty and the Beast, the a cappella group they used to have 4 for $1?
Vaguely.
Mm-mm.
Like, very vaguely. They were one of the first entertainment things cut, too, so...
She
shame.
agreed grumpily.
I think, my big thing with Tomorrowland and all of these parties and events that they do down there is it's really cool that they kind of have stuff rotating all the time. If you look at the time slots for everything, they give them enough time to finish one show and then rotate out the next one, which is cool because then there's something in Tomorrowland at all times.
Mm-hmm. Which is good for crowd control for sure.
Especially because there's not much else to do over there.
Exactly.
So along the same lines in Tomorrowland, there is also Club Tinsel in Cosmic Rays, which is open from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. That is the dance party of the evening. Mm-hmm. And you have the option to dance with some polar bears, reindeers, and some elves.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to do that.
If it were a real reindeer or a real polar bear, I'd be interested.
That sounds horrifying.
About the polar bear.
Yeah, what did they say? If it's white, good night, because you're gonna fall.
I've never heard that, but okay.
Yeah, it's for the bears. They have like a different thing. Like if it's brown, get off the ground. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, good night.
Listen, if a bear comes anywhere near me, I am either gonna run or die on the spot.
I'm just gonna die.
I got a simpler one. If it's a bear, run away. It applies for every single bear.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Brian's advice. Anyways.
So this is a dance party.
We did sit and watch this for a little while, and it was also interesting.
You didn't participate?
No, I did not participate. I feel like I would have been the tallest person there by about 3 feet, other than the reindeer and the bear. But I just want to say, these reindeer, they just exist. They're not actually, a part of anything except for Very Merry, right? They're not from anything.
I don't think so.
I feel like they might be, but they're
Because
not.
it's the same
actually.
reindeer from the
It's
stage
something.
show, right?
Right, and the same reindeer in the parade. I just feel like they incorporate these reindeer a lot for not having anything else to do with anything except for this party. Which, I get it, it's Christmas and reindeer. I'm just kind of shocked that Disney hasn't made some sort of bank off of let's make an animated thing about these guys.
Yeah.
I can totally see them doing like a movie. They need to do a Pixar movie, kind of like about how Wreck-It Ralph is, but like about Rudolph and like what if Rudolph's really just a jerk, and all the other reindeers are like,
Yeah.
they have to do what he says because he's got the magic nose. I feel like
That would be interesting.
We need to storyboard this.
Yeah, make him a villain. He's not the good guy.
All right, all right, Disney, we're coming for your storyboards.
But yeah, if you have a little kid that likes to dance, it was cute to like watch the kids dancing. It was actually a pretty big crowd and they were super into it. The elves were like actual people though, so that was kind of weird because they were just like tiny girls with pointed ears. But if that's your thing, go for it.
All right. So I'm really excited to talk about this next one. And I'm sure you guys are all excited about this too, because I know how much we love this. So this year, they introduced a new offering called Tony's Most Merriest Town Square Party.
Can they stop with the most merriest? That's so like extra.
Oh.
I'm sorry, go
So
ahead.
it gets worse. No, you're fine. It gets worse. Beginning at 9:30 p.m., guests can pop in and out of Tony's Town Square restaurant for hors d'oeuvres and sweets during the brand new Tony's Town Square's Most Merriest Christmas Party. The best part is like I copied this directly from Disney's website, and the first line that is in here after the basic like this is what this is, there will be Tony's famous meatballs, hand tossed mini pizzas, and then just a bunch of other food that they have. But like, first of all, Tony's famous meatballs, I don't think anybody thinks that anything at Tony's is famous. And hand tossed mini pizzas that they probably pulled out of the microwave.
Yeah.
But
I will say all the pizzas that I'm aware of on Disney property go through the oven, not the microwave. But they're not hand tossed unless you count throwing them at someone else to put them in the oven.
And now, how many times does that happen?
I mean, they did toss them.
Somebody picked the box and like tossed it off the truck at some point. So,
but this is their replacement for the dessert party. So this is actually a hard ticket event. The price is $99 a person plus tax, and you need a admission to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. It does give you reserved seating for the second showing of the parade at 11 p.m. And it also lets you stay until 12:30 a.m. when everything else is, I believe, shuts down around 12.
Mm-hmm.
So, I cannot endorse this, but I also don't like to endorse fireworks parties and all that. So
Yeah, I definitely, this is not something I would consider, but I do have to say it has a lot more value than a lot of the other types of like fireworks shows or fireworks parties and stuff, in my opinion, because not only do you like you can go in and out for like 3 hours. You don't have to eat. Like I feel like most of the dessert parties, it's like here's like a 1 hour window where you have to like eat and drink the stuff, and then you get the reserved viewing, and that's it. This one, it's like at least you get heavy hors d'oeuvres like intermittently, like when you feel like it. It's just really, really out of the way. Like you have to go all the way back to the front of the park, pretty much.
And really, really overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it's not a bad idea to have like a dessert party experience, but with like a full meal, like you said, heavy hors d'oeuvres, or like just kind of more of a kind of fancy buffet thing. I feel like I'd be more willing to pay for that at some point than to pay for a dessert party. but I still wouldn't pay for this after the Christmas party. This would have to be like separately.
Honestly, if they had like cocktails, not just beer and wine, I could definitely get value out of this.
Wow.
Like, I still, it was not personally in my budget, but if it was in my budget and there was like cocktail beverages available, I would consider it, because it's pretty easy to drink $99 at Disney World.
Very easy to do that. So let's move on to the final event of the evening. Snowfall on Main Street. This happens throughout the night. A lot around the parades. I believe it happens just periodically at other points in the night. But I think this alone is enough reason to go to Very Merry.
But doesn't it happen during the day?
I don't.
So.
Yeah, I don't remember it happening during the
Yeah,
day.
it really, like, I remember being there, and that was like, it just felt so like magical. It really did. And like now, especially, God, I sound like such a lame-o parent, but with Eli, I feel like that would even it would feel even more magical, because at this age he would be like, what, this is amazing. So yeah, I think if you like Christmas, this is like the draw for me, is just the atmosphere.
Yeah.
With the Snope.
And if you're someone that really just enjoys the atmosphere of like the Christmas offerings that Disney does, this is a nice way to tie up any Christmas trip, I think.
Yeah.
So one of the last categories I wanted to talk about is that Disney does some special offerings as well alongside of that. From everything from exclusive snacks to character meet and greets. I put links in the show notes if you guys want to talk about the snacks and the holiday merchandise. I know that those are always like a nice little add-on when you go to these parties. But they offer exclusive snacks that are usually pretty cool. There was a lot of them this year. I did not realize that they were doing all of these.
Yeah, it's just really hard to justify, in my opinion, paying for these exclusive snacks when you're getting cookies shoved in your face every 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's true. I actually forgot to put that in the show notes.
Oh yeah, cookies, you get unlimited free cookies at several like different places.
Yeah, but I was really disappointed with the cookies. Like, honestly, they weren't that great.
So when you went, Kirsten,
you get hot cocoa too.
Yeah, they had several different things. There was eggnog and a certain type of cookie at one place, and then there's hot cocoa at another place, and then there was chilled apple cider, aka apple juice, at one place. So pro tip, you get one of each cookie if you go to Pinocchio Village House. So you don't actually have to go around and collect the different cookies if you just want to try one of each and figure out which one you like. You get all 4 there.
I did not know that.
That's what we went to several of them, but that was our first stop, because I was like, I want to taste the cookies before I waste my time going to the other places trying to get more.
So when I went, which was 4 or 5 years ago, it was just hot chocolate too. So I'm happy to see that they had other things in there, because the hot chocolate is not exactly something that I wanted in the Florida weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was surprisingly like cold when I went, so it was actually pretty nice to have the hot cocoa, but I can 100% understand why you wouldn't want to on a normal Florida weather day.
Especially me, who's coming from New Jersey where it's actually cold, and then you people are saying it's cold down there.
It was in the low 50s, Mario.
Beth, let me look at my
my southern blood couldn't handle it much colder than that.
Let me look at my weather app. Okay, it's 55 right now, but tomorrow it's supposed to go down to 41. Oh, apparently it's going to be really warm.
Anything below 60 degrees is freezing. That's how it works.
Yeah, pretty
agree.
much.
You're outvoted, Mario.
No.
You can leave the island now.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
That they also have exclusive merchandise too, which always is the case at the parties. I didn't see anything this year that like really stood out to me. I don't know if you guys did. I actually just realized that I linked the wrong year in the show notes. That's 2017. But either way, I haven't seen any merchandise this year that really stood out to me. I don't know if you guys saw anything specific.
I wouldn't say like stood out in a sense of, wow, this is like the hot ticket item. The thing that kind of threw me off was, if you guys will look at the pass holder pin, like, I think it's a cute idea. It's like the toy soldiers and Donald is in the middle looking grumpy, and it says Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party at 2018 at the top, but it's like Donald has marked out Mickey's and put Donald's Very Merry Christmas Party. I think it was like a cute concept, but there was literally no reference of this anywhere other than this pin. So it was kind of felt like, well, was there something else planned for this? Like, was there somehow a theme, like a show that was going to establish this? Is it just because Donald's generally grumpy? It just kind of didn't make sense in a way, if that makes sense. But yeah, I agree. It was pretty standard merchandise for the most part,
which is kind of a shame.
Yeah, I would say, I think generally, not to tie it back to it again, but Not So Scary, I think, has a lot better specific merchandise than the Christmas party.
So the other two things that are really exclusive to these parties are the magic shots that you can get. There's always exclusive party photos you can take throughout the park, which, you know, we've talked about magic shots before. Did you guys do any of those, Beth? I know you don't really do too much with the
Very
photo pass.
merry.
Yeah. I know usually they have like a sign on Main Street that has like the Very Merry Christmas Party logo on it, and
we did. Well, we did have they're in Adventureland. There was like a wreath sign that's like it was like a wreath, and it said Very Merry Christmas Party at the bottom, and you like held it up and took the picture. We did do that, but not any of the magic shots.
I'd still say that counts as an exclusive photo op, though.
Oh, well, yeah.
So they have those, and then the big thing is the character meet and greets. I have these listed by land. I don't know if you guys want to go through all of them, but if you're a character person, the parties are usually a very good place to meet them.
Mm-hmm. Which I think, honestly, I'd never do the meet and greets because I feel like it's such a time suck.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do think it's really cool. The like Sandy Claus, Jack Skellington is like an exclusive thing. If I was gonna wait in line for one, it would be that.
And of course, it's the one with the longest wait time.
Right. I mean, it's the coolest one. So
yeah. So let's actually go through these. We'll go through them by land because that's how I have them in here. On Main Street, you can meet Santa Claus at the Main Street Courtyard. You can meet Mickey Mouse at Town Square Theater. Jack Skellington is Sandy Claus, and Sally meets with him at Town Square Theater as well in the Tinkerbell slot. I think, like Beth said, the only one I would really probably go for would be Jack if that line wasn't like 3 hours every night.
Yeah. Is Mickey in a Santa costume?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
He's just this
I think
regular
on the-
non-talking
and they're,
magician.
like just Christmas outfits, like Christmas dress and like the, I don't know, Christmas suspenders or something.
Yeah, that would be a nice way to like present those characters, where it would make a nice like photo op if you just got Mickey in like a Santa outfit or a holiday outfit or something. That would be nice.
Yeah.
So moving over to Adventureland, we have Aladdin, Abu, Jasmine, and Genie. Right next to the magic carpets of Aladdin. Captain Jack Sparrow across from Pirates of the Caribbean. Moana in the Tiki Room, which means you cannot ride the Tiki Room or experience the Tiki Room during the party. Peter Pan as a free roaming character in Adventureland. Did you happen to see him at all? Because I have heard he roams around, but I have not seen him.
I actually did. It was. I thought that was a really cool touch because he was just like interacting with people, and I wish that they had more of that. But yeah, he was definitely hanging out.
Very cool. Over in Frontierland, we have the country bears. They're roaming around.
Nice.
Not really that important. There's two types of people on this podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, the right
Shade.
ones and the wrong ones.
See,
I do have to
Kirsten, we're in the right.
While I do love the Country Bears attraction, I don't dislike the characters roaming around except for the fact that they are pure nightmare fuel.
Some of them definitely are. I will agree with that.
Who is the one? You know the one
Lips
that's like the
McGraw, I think
scariest.
that's the one that everybody.
Where his like mouth is like gaping.
No,
with the teeth.
He's the one that has the like almost kind of like puckered lips.
No, I'm talking about the one with the teeth that's like gaping mouth. Shaker?
Now, what was it?
Is it Shaker? Is that his name?
I actually don't know.
Wow, what a terrible fan.
The only reason I know is because I had a friend who was friends with Shaker and the Halloween parade. But I'm looking at a picture, and this is also not the one I was talking about, although it is pretty scary. The one I'm talking about,
Is it Zeb or something?
It's Wendell. It's Wendell. I'm gonna send you guys a picture.
Now, let me ask you something. Would you rather have these country bears walk around in Frontierland or the movie Country Bears walk around in Frontierland?
Honestly, the movie.
The movie ones are less scary.
The movie ones, like, while the movie itself is actual trash, like, the characters look semi, like, okay, like, a little bit endearing almost. I'm sending this picture now. Get ready to have nightmares tonight.
Yes, that one.
Terrifying.
He has an eye thing.
The lazy eyes, yeah, are definitely not helping.
The teeth. And the teeth, he's just like, ah. Oh, my God. You guys, I'm sending you this other picture, too. We're going to have to link to these because everyone needs to know.
Oh, my God.
It's so scary. I don't understand how children aren't crying every time these guys walk by.
Yeah, me either.
That is absolutely terrifying.
He looks like he's one dirty look away from eating you, like, legit. Anyway, Country Bears, moving on to a different meet and greet that's not scary.
So Fantasyland is the one that's super stacked with meet and greets. You have Ariel and Prince Eric, Rapunzel, Flynn Rider, Aurora, and Prince Philip, Cinderella and Prince Charming, Tiana and Naveen, Princess Elena of Avalor. I could not say that one. All of them meet in Princess Fairy Tale Hall. Snow White and her prince meet in near Princess Fairy Tale Hall. Belle meets on the right side of the village gift shop. Pooh and friends meet next to the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. The Seven Dwarfs meet inside Pete's Silly Sideshow at Storybook Circus. Minnie, Daisy, Donald, Scrooge McDuck also meet in Storybook Circus. Santa Goofy meets next to the Barnstormer, and Mary Poppins and Bert meet next to Mickey's PhilharMagic. That was a lot of characters.
Mm-hmm. Again, did not do any of these.
I think there's some cool ones, like the fact that you can meet some of the princes is neat because a lot of them don't usually meet.
Yeah, I do think that's pretty cool.
And usually the wait times for like the Storybook Circus ones aren't too bad. I know we did, my little cousin really likes Tangled, and we did Rapunzel and Flynn Rider like when we went, because the other side of that was Anna and Elsa, and they had like an hour-long to 2-hour-long wait time. We walked right in, got our picture with Rapunzel and Flynn Rider, and walked out.
Yeah, I think it would be more desirable if all of these meet and greets had like exclusive costuming. Like if they had their like winter, in the parade, how they all have their little winter outfits on. I think
Like
that would be cool.
The Santa Goofy's kind of cool because it's exclusive, like, costume to the party.
Right, and don't like the Winnie the Pooh characters, aren't they in costume?
They are for the Halloween party, but I don't know if they are for this one.
I'm pretty sure they're in like little scarves and beanies and stuff.
And that's the thing, just little small touches like that you could do for almost every character.
Right. It would not be hard.
Yeah.
What do we know?
So the last meet and greet in Magic Kingdom for the Christmas party is Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps in Tomorrowland. Do they still meet in other places, or are they kind of out now too?
I think they're exclusive to the Halloween, or I think they're at the Halloween party too. But if not, this is the only time I've seen them meet and greet. Unless you count like dancing next to them and the move it, shake it thing.
Move it, shake it, mouse can dance it.
Oh my god. No.
They're gonna start adding text it, Skype it, whatever to it along with this.
Snapchat it.
Facebook message it. So overall value, let's talk that. The party ranges in price from $101 for an adult ticket to the highest it looks like this year was $133, and that's all over the place for the Christmas season. Let's just say at its height, do you think it's worth it? And at the lowest, do you think it's worth it? And if you're in between there somewhere, where's that sweet spot?
I'm going to say yes. I think it depends very much on how you use the ticket. Just because I think if you show up at 4 when you get in, even if you treat this as just a normal day that you would spend in the park with maybe a couple of the Christmas things sprinkled in with it, you're getting 8 hours in the park, which I feel like is pretty average for what the average guest spends in there. And you're getting reduced wait times, you're getting free snacks, and you're getting the atmosphere. So I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I would also say yes, but my stipulation would be this is something I feel like I could do once every 5 years or so. And that's enough for me. Totally agree.
Yeah, I think I have to agree there too. I liked Very Merry, and I do want to go back before, I make my official judgment on whether I think it's worth it or not. When we went, I definitely think that this was one of the highlights of that trip, solely because we got to do a lot of the things that we really wanted to do. My biggest piece of advice for this, and we say this a lot on the podcast, but plan out your trip for Very Merry if you're going to do it. These parties are a thing where they kind of cram all of these events from this window of 6 to 12, and while that seems like a wide window, you have so much to do. And I truly don't think you can do everything that the party offers in that window.
Oh, definitely.
Unless you super plan it. But even then, my thing, I've always said this with the Halloween party, if you want to see the stage show, the fireworks, the parade, and any special offerings, make sure you know when you're going to go. And I hate telling people to overplan things, but I think this is that instance where you kind of need to block your time out.
Definitely. And especially if you want to do some of these limited edition meet and greets, you definitely got to plan it.
And even there, you're going to have to plan for, an hour for some of them to maybe even 2. It's a lot of them will demand high wait times. Knowing before you go is going to be the biggest thing to save you any amount of grief, especially at these things.
Yeah. What I'll say is that we did not do any of the meet and greets, so I can't speak to that. But we got to experience every single entertainment option in the amount of time that we had, and it was not crazy. Like, we weren't running from place to place. So if you plan it well, it's easy to at least get all of the entertainment aspects accomplished. But if you're adding a hour wait for a meet and greet, then you might have to sacrifice something, like most merriest celebration stage show.
I also like to recommend seeing the later shows, since it seems to be that people like to do the earlier stuff. That way they get it, they get to do it, and then some people will head out. For some reason, when we went, everyone was kind of like leaving the park early.
It's because they have kids. I'm telling you right now.
I think that's exactly what it was, because there was like a very large chunk of the crowd that was gone by the time that we saw like the closing fireworks and all of that. And Main Street was pretty empty for us, so that was kind of nice. Maybe plan for the last shows if you don't have kids and don't have to go back.
Yeah, I definitely. That's the main reason I regret taking Eli to Not So Scary when he was so young, because I feel like we didn't get to really enjoy anything because we left so early. So, yeah, older kids, do it without your kids, whatever. Or else just plan to leave early.
Also, I feel like the earlier you go, like date-wise, the less crowded it's going to be, because we went on December 9th, and it was okay crowds. It wasn't the best, like, lowest crowds I've seen at a special event or anything, but it was still fine. I feel like the closer you get to Christmas, it's just not going to be as ideal, especially on Christmas. I can't even imagine. Oh wait, there's not one on Christmas, so never mind. But there's one like tonight, like I think the 21st. I bet that one's insane.
That's the one that actually costs the most money. That's insane. Yeah, that's the one that costs $133.13. Is tonight's party. I don't think I would pay for that.
Pro tip about the tickets, though, it's it's not a ton of money, but every little penny counts, right? We got our Very Merry tickets on Undercover Tourist and saved like $16 total.
It's pretty good.
So, yeah.
There are also AP and DVC discounts available for select dates too. So
yeah, but they were all in November.
That's hard.
Or at least the AP ones were. I don't know about DVC.
They probably were in the same time then. So I want to ask you guys one last thing. I know we're pushing it really close. Is there anything that you would add to Very Merry Christmas Party that would... I know we put Not So Scary up on a higher pedestal. Is there anything that you could potentially... Well, that's why I'm asking this. Let's do a little bit of armchair imagineering to kind of tweak the party just a slight bit and maybe make it a little bit more worth it.
Well, first of all, I'd say go back, like the idea that we were talking about earlier is just add a little winter flair to the costumes of all of the meet and greets, not just a couple. I think that would add a nice little value there.
I could be wrong, but I feel like you hear a lot more about the treats and like the special desserts and everything about Not So Scary. I would appreciate more dessert offerings. Maybe there are some and they just don't talk them up as much, but like, I mean, really a free chocolate chip cookie? No, I want something that's like really good.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I wanted to ask you guys, Mario and Kirsten, since you guys, it's been a few years since you guys went, what was the cookie situation? Did they give you just like, here's the cookie, or was it prepackaged?
They just put it on a napkin. It was did you get a pre-packaged cookie?
Yeah, all of them are individually packaged now.
What an outrage.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to like shove them in your backpack, but it's also just like, what a waste.
Yeah, and I want a good cookie, like what they sell in the in the confectionery or something. I don't want some stupid.
Is that what you were getting before?
No, but that's why I'm so upset about this, partially. And why I want more treats, because I'm a dessert person. Like, I was super excited about the free candy at Not So Scary. I definitely didn't get as much as I should have. So.
Yeah. I will say that at Not So Scary, we came out with like 5 pounds of candy, and it was all eaten within like the first week or two that we got home. And it's been 2 weeks now almost since we went to the Christmas party, and I still have like 10 cookies in my kitchen. So you can take from that what you will.
Well, hey, they're pre-packaged, so.
Yeah. I will say the peppermint crunch cookie is actually pretty good, but.
For me, if it's not chocolate, it doesn't count, so.
Well, that's an opinion.
I know. I'm just saying that's why I need some more like treat options so I can get some more chocolate.
Yeah.
You know, kind of off of that thing, just adding more dessert options. I think if they added more entertainment options, like not stage show, not fireworks, not anything like that, just kind of little things throughout the different lands, it might be more interesting. Like, you know, we've talked about the little touches they do at Not So Scary with like the characters on the lawn of the Haunted Mansion or the Cadaver Dans and stuff like that throughout the party. Not So Scary also benefits from the fact that it's nighttime when they do these parties, and they can just like turn the lights down and have a spookier environment. I think Christmas is really fighting with that, but I don't know. There's so much more that they could do to just like ramp this up a little bit more and maybe make it just that much more worth it to me.
I mean, can we talk about, is this where we bring up the fact that the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland gets a Nightmare Before Christmas overlay?
Well, that's what I was going to say for, you know, an add-on, is I would love to see more ride overlays.
That's true. We didn't even talk about the best part of
Jingle
Christmas
Cruise.
time. Exactly.
It was great. It was my first time on it, and I loved it.
That was your first time? Isn't it awesome?
Yes, I loved it. And it's so easy. Like, it wouldn't be hard to throw some Christmas stuff on some other attractions.
Yep.
But it especially works well for Jungle Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially now that they have, I feel like they could do some really cool stuff at Be Our Guest, because like there's like a whole movie about it. Like, I mean, I know you would have to eat dinner there to do it, but I feel like, I don't know, magic shots, characters, whatever, it'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Then that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for joining us again on another episode of the Station 71 podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find links to all of our social media on our website at station71podcast.com. We hope you enjoyed your ride, and we'll see you real soon.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.